When you've been practicing medicine for as long as I have, you start to notice patterns. Men over 60 come into my office with a certain look in their eyes, tired, frustrated, and a little embarrassed. It's not because they're weak or because they've given up. It's because of a quiet problem that creeps in, little by little, until it's impossible to ignore. The trips to the bathroom that keep them up at night, the feeling of never quite emptying the bladder, that dull, heavy pressure that just won't go away. I'm talking about the prostate. Now, if you're still watching, I want you to know you're not alone. In fact, by the time most men reach their 60s, the majority will have some degree of prostate enlargement. It's common, but here's the thing. Common doesn't mean normal, and it doesn't mean you have to just live with it. Before I introduce myself, I want to tell you about a man I met not too long ago. His name was Frank. Frank was 68 and, by all accounts, a healthy, active guy. He loved gardening, golf, and long walks with his wife. But for the past few years, he'd been struggling. His nights were restless because he had to get up 3, sometimes 4 times to use the bathroom. His days were distracted by that constant urge, even when there wasn't much urine left to pass. Frank told me, "Doc, I can't even sit through a movie with my grandkids anymore without having to rush out. It's humiliating." That struck me. A man's dignity is priceless, and when something starts chipping away at it, it affects far more than just the body. For those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been a men's health specialist for over 30 years, working with thousands of men to restore their vitality, confidence, and quality of life. And today, I want to share something I've seen work wonders for men like Frank. Something natural, something that's been quietly sitting in your grocery store for decades, yet almost no one talks about it when it comes to prostate health. I'm going to tell you about a fruit that doesn't just taste great. It's been shown to help shrink an enlarged prostate, soothe urinary issues, and support overall men's health after 60. And no, it's not one of those exotic superfoods you have to order online for a small fortune. It's something you can easily get if you know what to look for and how to use it. But before I reveal it, I need you to understand why it matters. You see, your prostate isn't just some random gland. It plays a key role in your urinary system and your sexual health. As we age, hormonal shifts, especially in testosterone and its more potent form DHT, can cause the prostate to grow. This can lead to what's called BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia. Benign means it's not cancer, but the symptoms can still be incredibly disruptive. Frank had tried medications. They helped for a while, but the side effects hit him hard. Dizziness, fatigue, even a drop in his sexual desire. He told me, "Doc, I can't even sit through a movie with my grandkids anymore without having to rush out. It's humiliating." That struck me. A man's dignity is priceless, and when something starts chipping away at it, it affects far more than just the body. For those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been a men's health specialist for over 30 years, working with thousands of men to restore their vitality, confidence, and quality of life. And today, I want to share something I've seen work wonders for men like Frank. Something natural, something that's been quietly sitting in your grocery store for decades, yet almost no one talks about it when it comes to prostate health. I'm going to tell you about a fruit that doesn't just taste great. It's been shown to help shrink an enlarged prostate, soothe urinary issues, and support overall men's health after 60. And no, it's not one of those exotic superfoods you have to order online for a small fortune. It's something you can easily get if you know what to look for and how to use it. But before I reveal it, I need you to understand why it matters. You see, your prostate isn't just some random gland. It plays a key role in your urinary system and your sexual health. As we age, hormonal shifts, especially in testosterone and its more potent form DHT, can cause the prostate to grow. This can lead to what's called BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia. Benign means it's not cancer, but the symptoms can still be incredibly disruptive. Frank had tried medications. They helped for a while, but the side effects hit him hard. Dizziness, fatigue, even a drop in his sexual desire. He told me, "Doc, I just want something that works without making me feel less of myself." And I knew exactly where to start. This is where the fruit comes in. Studies have shown that certain plant compounds can help reduce inflammation in the prostate, block the conversion of testosterone to DHT, and improve urinary flow. And one of the richest natural sources of these compounds is a small, dark, slightly tart fruit that's been part of traditional medicine for centuries. Now, if you're finding this information helpful already, I'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe. And do me a favor, leave a simple yes or no in the comments if this message is resonating with you. I read every single one, and it helps me know what topics matter most to you, so I can keep tailoring my advice. When I recommended this fruit to Frank, I told him it wasn't magic, it wasn't going to fix everything overnight, but if he made it part of his daily routine, alongside a few key other habits, he'd start to notice changes in a matter of weeks. And he did. The first thing he reported was sleeping longer stretches at night without having to get up as often. Then his urgency during the day started to calm down. Within a couple of months, he told me he could make it through a round of golf without that gnawing pressure in his lower abdomen. What made the difference wasn't just the fruit's natural anti-inflammatory properties. It was the fact that Frank committed to the change, and he paired it with small, smart lifestyle adjustments, like staying hydrated, limiting caffeine in the evenings, and doing a few simple pelvic floor exercises. These might sound small, but for the prostate, small changes can lead to big relief. This fruit is also packed with antioxidants, which help combat oxidative stress, one of the hidden factors in prostate enlargement and overall aging. Think of oxidative stress as rust slowly forming inside your body. Antioxidants help slow that process down, keeping your tissues, including the prostate, healthier for longer. As I've shared this with more patients, I've seen a common theme. Men feel more in control. They go from feeling like their body is dictating their day to feeling like they can plan their life again. That's a powerful shift, one that ripples out into their relationships, hobbies, and self-confidence. So, if you've been dealing with the frustration of an enlarged prostate, I want you to know there are options beyond just medications or surgery. Nature has given us some remarkable tools, and this fruit is one of them. In the next part of our conversation, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it is, how to choose the right kind, and the best way to incorporate it into your daily routine for maximum benefit. For now, just remember, your prostate health matters. It's not something you have to ignore or accept as just part of getting older. With the right knowledge and the right habits, you can make a real difference in how you feel day and night. When Frank first sat in my office, I could see the hesitation in his eyes. He'd heard about natural remedies before and was skeptical. Too many times he'd read about some miracle cure online, only to find out it was nothing more than marketing hype. I get it. That's why I always make sure anything I recommend is backed by both science and real-world results. So when I leaned forward and told him, "Frank, the fruit I'm talking about is the humble dark red cranberry," his eyebrows went up. "Cranberries? You mean like the kind you put in sauce at Thanksgiving?" "Exactly," I told him, "but not the sugar-loaded kind you find in most grocery aisles. I was talking about pure, unsweetened cranberries or their concentrated extracts. They've been used for generations to help with urinary tract health, and modern research now shows they can also have a powerful effect on prostate health, especially for men over 60. Cranberries are rich in a group of plant compounds called proanthocyanidins. These compounds help prevent bacteria from clinging to the lining of the urinary tract, reducing infections and irritation. But there's more. They also have an anti-inflammatory effect which can ease the swelling of the prostate. Inflammation is one of the key drivers of prostate enlargement, so calming it down is crucial. I explained to Frank that one of the overlooked benefits of cranberries is their impact on DHT. That's the form of testosterone that can trigger prostate growth when levels get too high. Certain compounds in cranberries can help modulate the way your body processes testosterone, keeping DHT levels in a range that's less likely to aggravate the prostate. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need fancy equipment, expensive supplements, or complex recipes. You just need consistency. I told Frank that there were 3 main ways he could add cranberries to his daily routine. First, fresh or frozen cranberries. These can be blended into a smoothie with other fruits to mask the tartness. Second, unsweetened cranberry juice. And I do mean unsweetened. Most juices on the shelf are loaded with sugar, which will do more harm than good. Third, cranberry extract capsules. These are a good option if you don't like the taste but still want the benefits. Frank chose the juice route, drinking 1 small glass in the morning and another before dinner. When Frank came in for his next checkup, I could tell right away something was different. He looked more relaxed, his eyes brighter, and his handshake had that firm confidence that comes when a man starts feeling like himself again. He said, "Doc, the cranberry juice is working, but I want to take it a step further. What else can I do?" That's when I told him something important. While cranberries are a powerful tool, they work best as part of a bigger picture. You see, what you eat every day can either feed inflammation in your prostate or help fight it. And when you're over 60, your body becomes even more sensitive to those choices. I began by explaining that our goal wasn't just to shrink the prostate. It was to create an environment in the body where it could stay healthy for years to come. That meant lowering inflammation, supporting hormone balance, and improving blood flow to the pelvic region. So, alongside his daily cranberries, I recommended he start building what I call a prostate-friendly plate. It's simpler than it sounds. Half of the plate should be colorful vegetables, and I mean real variety. Broccoli, spinach, bell peppers, carrots, and leafy greens all bring powerful antioxidants and vitamins that protect cells from damage. Cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli and cauliflower, are especially helpful because they contain compounds that help your body regulate estrogen and testosterone, a key factor in prostate health. The next quarter of the plate should be lean proteins. Think grilled fish, skinless chicken, or plant-based options like lentils and beans. Fish like salmon and mackerel are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation and support overall heart health. And remember, what's good for your heart is almost always good for your prostate. The final quarter is for whole grains: brown rice, quinoa, oats, foods that provide fiber to keep your digestion running smoothly and your blood sugar stable. High blood sugar and insulin spikes can fuel inflammation, which is the last thing your prostate needs. Frank was a little skeptical at first. "Doc, do I really have to give up my steak?" I smiled and told him it's not about giving things up entirely. It's about balance. If he enjoyed a steak once in a while, that was fine, as long as most of his meals supported his health instead of working against it. I also encouraged him to add nuts and seeds into his routine. Pumpkin seeds in particular are a hidden gem for the prostate. They contain zinc, a mineral essential for prostate function, and plant sterols that may help reduce prostate size. A small handful a day can go a long way. One of the most important changes I suggested had nothing to do with adding food, but with removing some of the troublemakers. I advised Frank to cut back on processed meats, sugary snacks, and heavy fried foods. These are the kinds of things that drive inflammation and contribute to weight gain, which are both things that can put more pressure on the bladder and worsen prostate symptoms. We also talked about hydration. Many men with prostate issues make the mistake of drinking less water because they think it will reduce bathroom trips. But dehydration actually irritates the bladder and can make symptoms worse. The key is to spread water intake evenly throughout the day and avoid drinking large amounts right before bedtime. After just a few weeks of making these changes, Frank told me he wasn't just sleeping better, he had more energy during the day, less bloating, and even noticed that his morning walks felt easier. He said, "Doc, it's like my whole body's waking up again," he said with a grin.
That's when I reminded him the prostate isn't an isolated organ. It's part of a system. When you nourish your whole body, your prostate benefits, your bladder benefits, your heart benefits, and even your mood improves. And as a man in his 60s or 70s, feeling good in body and mind is the real goal. Now, if you're still watching this, I'd like you to do two things. First, if you find this advice helpful, click the like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future tips. Second, drop a simple yes or no in the comments if you think you could make some of these dietary changes. I look at these comments personally because they help me tailor my advice to what you actually need. Frank's journey was proof that when you combine a targeted food like cranberries with a smart, balanced diet, you can create real change. But there was one more piece of the puzzle we needed to address, something most men overlook, but which can make a huge difference in reducing prostate symptoms and improving overall quality of life. It wasn't a supplement, it wasn't another food. It was something entirely different, yet deeply connected to how the prostate functions and how the urinary system performs. And once Frank learned it, his progress went from good to remarkable. When I told Frank there was still one more thing we could do to help his prostate, he leaned in. "Doc, you've already got me drinking cranberry juice and eating more greens. What's left?" I smiled and said, "Something most men never think about, training the muscles you can't see." I explained to him that just like we strengthen our arms or legs, we can also strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. These muscles support the bladder and the prostate and play a big role in controlling the flow of urine. When they weaken, which often happens as we age, the bladder has a harder time holding urine, and symptoms like urgency and frequency get worse. The good news, you can retrain these muscles with simple exercises, often called Kegels. Yes, they're not just for women. For men, they can improve bladder control, reduce leaks, and even enhance sexual performance. Here's how I described it to Frank. Imagine you're trying to stop yourself from passing gas. The muscles you tighten are your pelvic floor muscles. You squeeze, hold for a few seconds, and then relax. Start with a set of 10 reps a few times a day. You can do them anywhere, sitting, standing, even lying down, and no one will know. At first, Frank felt a little silly, but he committed to it just like he did with the cranberries and dietary changes. Within a few weeks, he noticed something surprising. When he did have to get up at night, it wasn't with the same urgency. His bladder felt calmer, and he could start and stop the stream more easily. Alongside the pelvic floor work, I encouraged Frank to keep moving in general. A daily walk, light stretching, and avoiding long stretches of sitting all help improve circulation to the pelvic region. Better blood flow means more nutrients and oxygen reaching the prostate, which supports healing and reduces inflammation. We also touched on stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which can worsen inflammation and hormonal imbalances. I suggested Frank try a few minutes of deep breathing in the evening, especially before bed. Not only did it help him relax, but he found he was sleeping more soundly, and better sleep supports everything else we'd been working on. As the months went by, Frank's transformation was undeniable. His night trips to the bathroom went from 4 or 5 times down to once, sometimes not at all. He had more energy for golf, more patience with his grandkids, and more confidence in his body. One day he said to me, "Doc, I thought this was just something I had to live with. Now I feel like I'm in control again." That's the thing I want every man watching this to understand. Prostate problems don't have to define your later years. You have more influence over your health than you think. By making small, consistent changes, adding a powerful fruit like cranberries, eating in a way that supports hormone balance, strengthening your pelvic floor, staying active, and managing stress, you can create real, lasting improvement. And while no single step is a magic cure, the combination adds up. Each choice you make is like adding another brick to a foundation of better health. Before you know it, you're standing on something solid, something that supports you in living the life you want instead of one dictated by bathroom breaks and discomfort. So here's my challenge to you. Pick just one of these steps and start it now. Then, in a week or two, add another. Small steps turn into big changes, and before long, you'll feel the difference, just like Frank did. I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and it's been my privilege to share this with you. Take care of yourself, keep moving forward, and remember, your best years can still be ahead of you.